My name is Jake. I thought I was going to marry the love of my life, Emma. We had been together for 3 years. Everything looked perfect. But perfect things can hide ugly secrets. It started small. She began wearing perfume to work, expensive perfume, a kind she never wore before. When I asked, she said it was a gift from her boss. That felt strange. She started coming home late. Sometimes she said she was at the office. Other times she said team dinners. She stopped hugging me when she got home. She locked her phone, changed her passwords, even stopped leaving her laptop open. I tried to trust her. I told myself I was overthinking. But one night, she left her phone on the table while she took a shower. It buzzed. A message popped up. It said, "Same place, 7 p.m. Don't be late again." No name, no contact picture. When she came out, I acted normal, but my heart was racing. That night, she fell asleep fast. I stayed up scrolling through her social media. Nothing new. But her old posts with me? Deleted. The next day, I checked her Google location history. She had been at a hotel near her office, twice, both times late at night. I told my best friend Ryan about it. He said maybe she was planning a surprise for me. My birthday was coming up in 2 weeks. So I waited. My birthday came, nothing. No surprise, no gift, not even a message from her during the day. That's when I knew something was wrong. So the next night, I followed her. She left the office around 6 p.m. She didn't drive home. She drove to the same hotel. I parked nearby. She walked in alone. 15 minutes later, a man arrived. Not her boss, someone younger, nervous. He carried a small black bag. I waited an hour. They didn't come out. So I walked into the lobby and asked the receptionist if someone named Emma had checked in. She said no. But the man booked the room under a different name, Mark Daniels. That was Emma's boss's name. When she came home later, she said she was tired from work. I asked, "Did you stay late again?" She smiled and said, "You know how it is." That smile didn't look real anymore. That night, I made a plan. I wasn't going to confront her yet. I was going to find out who that man really was. And what I found next made me realize she wasn't just cheating. She was hiding something much darker. After that night, I couldn't stop thinking about the hotel. Who was the guy? Why was he using her boss's name? I tried to convince myself it was nothing. Maybe it was a work meeting. Maybe I was being paranoid. But deep down, I knew something was wrong. The next few days were quiet. Emma acted like nothing happened. She made pancakes in the morning, she smiled, she kissed me goodbye. But she avoided eye contact when she said, "Love you." It sounded practiced. I watched her closer. She kept her phone face down. She started deleting messages. Even her laptop had a new password. I told myself not to check her phone again, but I did. One night, she fell asleep early. I tried the password twice, wrong both times. She had changed it. The next morning, I told her I was going to my brother Luke's place for the weekend. She didn't even ask why. She said, "Okay, have fun." No hesitation, no curiosity. That was when I decided to follow her again. Saturday night, around 6 p.m., she left home. Nice dress, makeup, new perfume. She wasn't going to the office. I followed her car. She drove straight to the same hotel. I parked 2 blocks away, waited. She walked in holding her phone, texting someone. 15 minutes later, a man arrived. Same one as before. Same car, same small black bag. He looked nervous. He checked around before walking inside. My hands were shaking. I recorded a short video from my car. Then I waited. 2 hours later, Emma walked out. She was on the phone. I recorded again. Her voice was calm. She said, "He believed everything. We'll finish it next week." My heart dropped. I didn't know who he was, but I had a bad feeling it was me. When she got home later, I pretended to be asleep. She slipped quietly into bed, scrolling her phone in the dark. The next morning, she was cheerful again. She kissed me, made coffee, asked if I slept well. It felt fake, every word. I smiled back and said, "Yeah, I slept great." That day, I opened her laptop. I tried her old password again. This time, it worked. Her emails looked normal at first. Then I saw one that stood out. Subject: consulting payment. It was a receipt for a transfer of $6,000. The money went to something called Greystone Group LLC. I Googled it. No website, no address, nothing. It didn't exist. When she got home, I asked casually, "So, how's work?" She said, "Busy as always." Then she looked me straight in the eye and smiled. It was the fakest smile I'd ever seen. That night, I called Ryan and told him everything. He said, maybe she's in trouble, maybe she's being blackmailed. But that didn't explain why she kept lying to me, or why she was meeting someone under her boss's name. The next day, Luke followed her while I stayed home. He called me after an hour. "She's at the same hotel," he said, "and she's not alone." He sent me a few photos. In the last one, she was kissing that same man. I didn't even feel angry. I felt numb. But then Luke sent me a short video. It had audio. The guy said, "Does he know about the plan?" And Emma said, "No, he still thinks I love him." I replayed that sentence 10 times. It wasn't just cheating. It was something else. A plan. A setup. And I had no idea what I was part of. For 2 days, I didn't talk to Emma. I told her I was working overtime. She didn't question it. She probably thought I was still in the dark. But I wasn't. I wanted answers. So I used the license plate from the guy's car. A friend of mine works in private security. He ran it for me. The name came back, Daniel Harris, 35 years old, financial consultant, clean record. I searched his name online. He looked normal. But one post caught my eye. A photo of him at the same hotel. Caption, "Successful meeting tonight." Posted the same night Emma said she was working late. That was my proof. 2 nights later, I waited outside the hotel again. At 8 p.m., Daniel's car showed up. I walked straight up to him. He looked confused. "Can I help you?" he said. I asked, "Are you Daniel Harris?" He nodded. I said, "We need to talk about Emma." His face went pale. Then he said, "You're Jake, right?" That stopped me. He already knew my name. We sat in his car. He looked nervous, almost guilty. He said, "Emma told me everything about you. She said you broke up months ago. She said you were controlling." I laughed. "Controlling?" He nodded. "She said you followed her, that you threatened her. She told me to be careful if you ever showed up." I felt sick. She had built a fake version of me for him, to make me look like a stalker. Then he said something worse. "She told me you hit her once. That's why she left." My stomach dropped. That was a total lie. He showed me one of her texts. It said, "If Jake contacts you, don't trust him. He's dangerous." I realized she wasn't cheating on me. She was controlling both of us. 2 different stories, 2 different men. I asked Daniel how they met. He said, on a business networking app. She said she wanted to invest in startups. She said the same thing to me once, but I never took her seriously. Then he told me something that changed everything. He had given her money, $12,000. She told him it was for a joint project her boss was managing. Her boss, Mark Daniels, the same name used to book the hotel room. I asked, "Did you ever meet him?" He said, "Once, briefly, but she told me to never contact him again." When he asked for updates about the project, she said the investment was delayed, but the money was gone. That's when I knew this wasn't about love or cheating. It was about money. That night, I checked Emma's laptop again. This time, I dug deeper. I found a hidden folder called Reports. Inside were messages between her and Mark Daniels. They talked about clients, transfers, and targets. Each file had names, payment amounts, and dates. My name was there, Daniel's name too, and 3 other people I didn't know. They had been running a scam. Emma used fake relationships to get money from men. Mark handled the transfers through his company. They split the profit. I sat there in silence. The woman I loved wasn't real. She was a mask, and I had fallen for it. I wasn't her fiancé. After that night, I didn't look at Emma the same way. Every smile, every kiss, every word, all fake. I was living with a stranger who had turned my life into her business. I wanted to go to the police, but I didn't have enough proof yet. If I went too early, she'd know I found everything, and she'd run. So I played her game. For 2 weeks, I acted like nothing happened. We had dinner, watched movies, went out with friends. She seemed relaxed again. She thought I still believed her lies. While she slept, I copied everything from her laptop to a flash drive. Messages, bank records, file names, everything that connected her to Mark Daniels. One night, while she was in the shower, her phone rang. It was him, Mark. I answered. He said, "Emma, the new target sent the transfer. You'll get your share tonight." I froze. Then I said, "This isn't Emma." Silence. Then the call ended. That was all the proof I needed. The next morning, I met with Daniel, the other guy she scammed. I showed him the files. He looked at me and said, "We need to take this to the police, together." We did. And within a week, detectives contacted Mark Daniels. They searched his office. They found fake contracts, burner phones, and hidden bank accounts. Emma was arrested 2 days later. She looked calm when they took her, almost proud. The police said she and Mark had scammed at least 6 people. Total money stolen, over $80,000. Each victim had the same story: a fake relationship, a fake business, and a lot of lies. After she was arrested, I got a message request on Facebook. It was from Mark's wife. She said she had no idea what her husband was doing, but she wanted to thank me for helping expose him. A week later, Daniel texted me. "She's in custody. They froze her accounts. It's over." But it didn't feel over. Not for me. 2 months passed. I tried to move on. I changed my number, moved to another city, started therapy. Then, one morning, I got a letter in the mail. No return address. I opened it. Inside was a short note written in her handwriting. It said, "I never loved you, but you were my favorite lie." I sat there for a long time, reading that same line over and over. Then I burned it, and for the first time in months, I felt free. Or I thought I did. Because later that week, I got a call from an unknown number. When I answered, a man's voice said quietly, "She's out."